Hello again. We're back to try to answer some of the questions, or actually all of the questions, for the previous example that we had of the streets listed in a row. Alright, so let's just do a quick refresher. Whenever you have a strict sequencing game, and in fact generally just with a logic game in general, the first question after you've made your sketch is usually the easiest question. It's usually a question that's involving which of the following options breaks your rules, right? And we know that because look at the way it's stated. Question 1 says, which one of the following families could live in the house that's the farthest east? So we're looking for something that is possibly true, which means that a wrong answer would be something that would have to be false, right? And something that would have to be false would be something that violates our rules. So let's see if we can usually we just kind of go right through the checklist and see if any of these answer choices breaks our rules. And the question is, which one of these could go here, right? The house furthest to the east. Well, let's take a look. Actually, I'm going to erase that because I don't want to mess up my master sketch, but just keep that in mind. That's what we're looking at. All right, what could go right here? Well, let's go down the line. A, K. No, right? Because K has to be right here. It says so according to our master sketch. K must be there. B, M. Nope. M has to be one of those two slots. That's out. N. We don't know because N, remember, those were the ones that we didn't have any rules about N or O, so it seems quite likely that this is our correct answer. I think we could put N here, so I'm tentatively saying that that's going to be our right answer. But let's just check the other two just for a moment. And I'm only checking the other two in this video. If I was taking this on the official test, I would circle that and move on. I would just, that we don't have any, it doesn't obviously violate any rule, so I would, take that. But for the sake of illustration, let's go ahead and just do the other two. What about P? Well, we do know P and L have to be in one of these three slots here. But look at our major rule. We say that P has to be in between the MK block and L. So in other words, L has to be further east than P. So if I put P at the furthest east space, there's nowhere for L to go without breaking a rule. So that would mean, no, we can't put P there because that breaks a rule. And what about the last one, R? Well, again, very specifically, we have in our sketch, we say that R can't be either here or there. So that's out, meaning the answer is, in fact, C. We could put C there without breaking a rule. Okay. Now, this next question is kind of the opposite. Right? This is asking which one of the following families cannot live next to the K's. Well, in this case, we still are looking for something that must be false, which translates to it's going to break a rule, our rule from our master sketch. But in this case, if it breaks the rule, that means that's our right answer, right? We're looking for something that will break a rule. So let's see what would break a rule. Let's go right down the line. Who cannot live next to K? Can we put L next to K? So that would, there's two different spaces we could put L, right? Either right behind L, or behind K, or right after it. Well, we know that we can't put it behind K, because for our master sketch, P and L have to be in these last three spaces, so that's not going to work. But could I put L right here? Could I put L right there in that spot? Well, it looks like I would have to say no, because if we did, then there's no space for P to come behind it. It's very much similarly to, the last question that we had, right? We knew that we couldn't put P at the very end because we have to have L after it, and I can't put L here because I need to have a P in between, see, from our block, P in between L and the MK group. So I can't put L next to K. So it looks like, boom, there's our answer right there. We're done. That's that. I'll take a moment and just pause the video and just maybe check through B, C, D, and E and see why, if you place those next to K, that you're not going to break any rule. Right off the bat, we know B and C, that's not going to break rules because we didn't set any rules for N and O. But you can don't do the same thing for the P's and the R's just to verify that. But our answer is A. Again, very importantly, on the test, you get something that fits with your criteria. We were looking for something that must be false or break a rule. Once you hit it, you're done. Move on. All right. Let's move on to this one then. Taking my own advice. If the M's live west of the K's and the R's cannot live next to both which and which. All right. So let's do this. We have an if scenario here. if we put M west of the K's, then what happens? So what I recommend that you would do is then just sketch out a scenario. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's do this. We know that K has to be space number 4. Right? That's in our master sketch, and that never changes. No matter what scenario they give you, they're never going to violate any of the rules that we set. But then they say, all right, if M is west of K, and remember our west is this way and east is this way according to our sketch. So if I put M right here, and remember there were only 2 spaces where M could be. Let's see what happens. We're interested in R. R can't live next to both which and which. All right, well, the rules for R were R can't be here and R cannot be there. So let's see what happens. Let's just play this out. The way that the correct answer is going to look for something that would break a rule, right? R cannot. So we're looking for something. The correct answer is what must be false. What would break a rule? Let's just go, and then there's really no real easy way to do this other than to kind of go down the list and try to do it as quickly as you possibly can. If you're playing a fairly complicated game, what I would suggest is you might skip this because we have to check all these different scenarios here, and then instead be just focusing on the other questions. And as you go, let's say you played a game where you found that, let's say we were doing this one. Let's say we skipped number 3 and we went to number 4, let's just say. And say you played this game out, you sketched it out, and it turned out in this scenario here that you had R right next to M and P. Let's just say. I'm just making this up. Let's just say that was the case. Well, then that would tell you, if that was a situation, I would go back to question 3 and eliminate answer choice C because it happened, right? We had a scenario where R was next to M and P. But for the sake of just this video, I'm just going to go through each scenario and we'll see what happens. We'll finish up this problem and then I'll pause it because it's getting a little bit long, and we'll finish up the other remaining 3 problems in the next video. Okay, so let's look at this. Can R be next to K and P? Well, that would involve, we'd have to put, we know P has to be over here somewhere. So let's see, can we do that? Can we put R next to K and P? Let's see. I'll switch up our letters. Let's say we put R right here, and we put P right there, and then we'd have to put L right here. Does that break any rules? No, it doesn't. So that's out. That does not break a rule. Okay? So I'm going to scribble this out. That did not break any rules. Okay, let's try this. What about B? Can R be next to L and P? Well, we know L has to be in here somewhere, and P has to be in there somewhere, right? So maybe we could do something like L and P. Oops, I was supposed to write a P there. And P, and squeeze an R in between them. Does that break any rules? Well, no, right? Because we fit this idea that P comes after MK, and L comes after P, and we just squeeze an R in the middle. So that doesn't break any rules. Let's erase that scenario. So that means that's out. Where's my pen? There it is. Okay. What about M and P? Can R be in between M and P? Well, let's think about this. M is right here. P has to be somewhere in here. Couldn't we do that next to both these? No, because we have K next to M, right? And if I say I put P anywhere in here, and I'll say P was over here. Whoops, I keep scribbling R when I mean to scribble a P. Let's try that for a second. Let's say I put P here. Well, I can't put R in between because there's a K there. If I put P over here, well, if I put R over here, it's in between K, not M. So there's no way that I can have a situation like this. This is what they were looking for, right? We wanted to see if we could do R in between P and M, like that. There's no way I can do that, because K is already taking the slot right next to M, and we know P has to come after the K, MK. So this is our answer. That cannot happen. All right, we're going to pause here, and then we'll resume with the remaining 3 problems.